What's up, guys? It's Woogle with Woogles Outdoors and Silent Bob, my brother. I finally got a trail name for him. He never talks. Today we're doing a little bit of archery talk, and I kind of want to talk about quivers mostly, like back quivers and side quivers, and what I prefer and what a lot of people prefer. And I'll go ahead and get his opinion on it. What do you prefer as quiver?
I like a back quiver.
Do you? Okay, same here. As you can tell in most of my videos, I always shoot with a back quiver. Even in my hunting videos, I'm always with the back quiver. As far as side quivers go, I do enjoy them, and they do work, but I prefer a back quiver. It just feels more comfortable for me. And that's what a lot of archery is about, and you have to remember that. This is a lot about what is good for you and what's not good for me. It doesn't have to be perfect for either one of us.
Relaxing practice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a meditation. That's what it is. So back quivers is what we'll start on, and we'll talk about that now. A lot of people have this myth that you can't use them out here in the bush. You can't go hunting with a back quiver, and that, Lars Anderson, for example, made that video a couple years ago where back quivers were pretty much useless tools and how they were in the way and they're only practical in ranges. If I'm standing here in the field and I've got a target set at 30 yards and I can draw every time for that. Well, I would like to say that that's a myth, and you can see here that I'm actually able to walk around in the bush with the back quiver on, and I've done this many times, with no issue. And I'm able to duck under things. I'm able not to get hung up. And I'm not going to say I don't get hung up sometimes, but I do that with side quivers also. These back quivers are very comfortable. I can move around pretty easily. My hands, I can move them here and here, and they're not in the way of a side quiver. And you can see here that drawing back, a arrow out of the side of the back quiver is relatively easy. And you can see that in many other videos. That's no secret. But more or less, the back quiver issue is moving around out here in the bush with it. And I would like to say that I've never had any issues with it. Have you ever had any issues with it? Maybe when you're first starting out, you might be a little clumsy. Everybody's that way. And that's just something you have to get used to. But back quivers are perfectly okay. And we can talk about side quivers. Have you ever actually used a side quiver?
I have a couple times.
Okay. I think the one he's got on his back is meant to be a side quiver, but he's he's conversed it over to a back quiver. If you want to show him that really quickly, actually. Yeah. No.
This technically had a piece that went on right here, and it hooked to your belt. It bounced around. It made way too much noise for me. So I cut a hole right here, ran a paracord through it, and tied it so I can tie and untie it and fix it however I want on my chest. So I turned it into a back quiver.
It works.
And I keep a rag on the bottom and top, too, and put it between my arrows so when I'm walking, it doesn't make noise with the arrows.
My quiver is a very old quiver that probably could be changed out now, and I'm not going to unbuckle it right now, but you guys have seen it in other videos. This is my back quiver. It's also set up to where it can be used as a side quiver. Side quivers, I think, are great, great ideas. You're very easy to pull out of. You can see which arrows you're pulling that way, too, which is kind of nice. So right now I've got, 3 broadheads and one, or the rest of them are field tips, and I just carry them around because I can. But, this way I can't see what I'm drawing out. If it's on my side, I can. But honestly, if I'm out here hunting, what I do anyways is I already have a broadhead loaded in my bow. I already have that thing ready. And, if I see a deer out here, a buck or something, I can take a shot on it pretty quickly so I don't have to worry about drawing out. If I'm sitting at the tree stand or out at my campsite, or something, I can easily just fiddle around with it or take this thing off for that matter, which is what I do most of the time anyways. With the side quiver, you do have the luxury of being able to sit down and not have to worry about, taking this thing off. You can just kind of let it hang there. And as you can see here, I can move around the brush very easily in a side quiver. I don't really have any issues. Actually, to me, it hangs up more than a back quiver does, but that may be because I'm not used to using a side quiver.
Something else I've noticed, just random to point out.
Yeah.
When I'm shooting with a side quiver and I pull back, it seems like the bow actually hits the side quiver. Even when I got my side stance, it's just awkward for me and it makes too much noise.
Yeah.
Especially if you're out hunting, that would make a factor.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's my biggest issue with side quivers is my hands get in the way of the side quiver.
Even on the other side, it just don't feel right.
Yeah. So, and you wouldn't want it on this side because then you'd have to cross draw, put it in, pull it back. Here you just in and out, But as far as drawing it, you can see here that I can draw a side quiver arrow out pretty easily without a problem. It's just, they're a little bit in the way on the side. Maybe it's just a comfort factor where me and him's not used to side quivers, and we, got used to back quivers easier. I just I'm not a huge side quiver fan, but I've had a few comments here recently, where people's like, "Oh, you should get a side quiver. It'll save you a lot of hassle. Why do you have a back quiver?" And my response is always the same. It's just it works for me. What works for me may not work for you, and vice versa.
Everybody has their own personal preference.
That's true. But either way it goes, guys, I hope this helped you guys out. If you're looking to, find a good quiver or something like that, and you're not sure what to go with, side quiver, back quiver, you can go for it. One more thing I actually want to talk about really quickly. My bow doesn't have the option for it. I just switched out to this Saberhawk bow, but his bow, which is the Samick Sage, has a few add-on options, and you can get a quiver that goes on the side of your bow, like right here. A lot of compounds have that option. And that's a really good quiver to use if you're hunting in the bush because, you're going to carry this thing around anyways, and then you can just draw it off, put it in and out. But for us traditional guys, a lot of us carry our arrows and, quivers on the pouch, back, things like that. That's it really, though. But I hope this was useful for some of you all. I really appreciate you watching this. If you like this video, please go down below, like, subscribe, and comment, and peace out.
See ya.